Have you ever found yourself Googling, what's the #1 healthiest food I should eat? Or maybe you've seen headlines screaming about a superfood that can fix everything from headaches to heart disease. Sounds tempting, right? 1. Magic bite and your problems vanish? But here's the truth. Real health doesn't come from one single miracle food. It comes from something much more powerful. Not hype, not trends, but understanding how to nourish your body the right way, every day. So in this video, I'm not just handing you a list of 10 healthy foods and calling it a day. I'll show you why these foods matter, how they work with your body, and what makes them truly valuable in the big picture. And stick around till the end, because I've saved a little treat that might surprise you. At first, I thought I'd make a quick list of the top 10 healthiest foods, but then it hit me. Doing that might actually be misleading. Why? Because it gives people the wrong idea. It suggests that if you just eat this one food or focus on just these 10 items, you'll be healthy. And that's just not how the human body works. I get questions all the time like, I have high blood pressure, what food should I eat? I've got headaches, what food will cure it? But food isn't medicine. It's not supposed to act like a drug. Instead, food is fuel. It's the raw material your body needs to build, repair, energize, and protect itself, day after day. Yes, some foods are loaded with incredible nutrients, but no single food is a silver bullet. That's why I don't want to frame this as a ranking, like a competition. I want you to see the bigger picture. What really matters is the variety. Different foods offer different nutrients. When you combine them, they complement each other like puzzle pieces. Only then does your body receive all the vitamins, minerals, catalysts, and building blocks it truly needs. Let's talk about something else that often fools people, the term natural foods. Have you ever walked into a grocery store and seen the natural foods section? Sounds promising, right? But here's the kicker. Just because a food sits on that shelf doesn't mean it's actually healthy. Sure, it might use fewer chemicals or artificial colors, but many of those so-called natural foods are still highly processed. They're still packed with starches, sugars, and preservatives, just under a prettier label. And here's a funny thought I always come back to. If this section is called natural foods, then what should we call the rest of the store? Unnatural foods? So don't get blinded by buzzwords. Real health is about real food, minimally processed, close to its original form, and full of the stuff your body was designed to recognize and use. Instead of chasing magic ingredients or trendy labels, let's shift our focus. Let's explore foods that aren't just popular, but genuinely powerful when it comes to fueling your body. And to do that, we'll start with one of the most overlooked yet foundational categories: non-starchy vegetables, the ultimate nutrient. Powerhouses. Let's start with the quiet heroes of nutrition, the non-starchy vegetables. They may not come with flashy packaging or bold marketing claims, but don't let their humble appearance fool you. These greens are packed with nutrients and fiber, yet incredibly low in sugar and starch. That's a rare combo, and your body absolutely loves it. We're talking about leafy greens like spinach, kale, romaine, arugula, and lettuce. Each bite of these provides a rich supply of vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients, all with almost no impact on your blood sugar. That means you can eat them generously without worrying about insulin spikes or energy crashes. And it doesn't stop there. You also have non-leafy options like broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, and zucchini, all part of the cruciferous family, which is known for its powerful anti-inflammatory and detox-supporting properties. Want a simple way to tell which ones to load up on? Look for vegetables with less than 5% net carbs. That's total carbs minus fiber. For example, something might have 15 grams of total carbs, but 12 grams of fiber. That's only 3 grams of net carbs. Totally safe, totally satisfying. And the best part? These veggies are incredibly versatile. Toss them in a salad, roast them with olive oil, blend them into a green smoothie, or steam them for a warm, comforting bowl. So if you're ever unsure where to begin with healthy eating, start here. You'll get massive nutrition, steady energy, and a gut that feels light and alive. 2. Berries. Sweet, but not too sweet. Let's talk fruit, but not just any fruit. Berries are in a league of their own. These tiny, colorful treasures are nature's candy, but with a twist. They're lower in sugar than most other fruits and much higher in fiber and antioxidants. Now, before you dive into a bowl of fruit salad, here's something to remember. The fruit we eat today isn't the same as what our ancestors once foraged. Back then, fruit was small, tart, and seasonal. Now, we have access to giant, ultra-sweet varieties all year round, and that means a lot more sugar than your body was designed to handle. That's why berries, like strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, and blueberries, stand out. They're the lowest in sugar and highest in nutrients among all fruits. Yes, they're delicious. Yes, they offer vitamins, antioxidants, and gut-friendly fiber. But no, you don't need to eat them by the bowlful. Use them strategically. Sprinkle them on full-fat yogurt, add a few to a protein smoothie, or just enjoy a small handful after a meal. A little goes a long way. And remember, more isn't always better, especially with fruit. 3. Animal proteins, the building blocks of human life. Now let's shift gears from plants to protein. Animal proteins often get a bad rap, but if you take a closer look, they're actually some of the most complete and essential foods we can eat. Why? Because they provide the full spectrum of essential amino acids, the raw materials your body uses to build muscle, repair tissue, create enzymes, and support your immune system. In fact, humans can survive for extended periods on animal proteins alone. You can't say that for most plant-based foods. So what are the best choices? Beef, pork, chicken, lamb, wild game like venison, rabbit, buffalo, and of course, fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, sardines. But here's the golden rule. You're only as healthy as what your food ate. If a cow is fed grains and kept in unnatural conditions, the meat it produces will have an unbalanced omega-6 to omega-3 ratio, leading to inflammation. But if that cow grazes on grass like nature intended, you get meat rich in healthy fats, clean protein, and essential nutrients. The same goes for fish. Always choose wild-caught, not farm-raised. Farmed fish are often fed corn and soy, live in overcrowded tanks, and develop disease more easily, making their meat less nutritious. Think of it this way. When you eat animals that were raised naturally, you're honoring nature's blueprint. You're getting clean fuel that your body was built to thrive on. 4. Eggs. Nature's multivitamin in a shell of animal proteins are the foundation. Then eggs are the crown jewels. These little orbs are incredibly nutrient-dense, loaded with protein, healthy fats, choline, B vitamins, and antioxidants, and they come in their own biodegradable packaging. Talk about efficient, but not all eggs are created equal. The difference between factory-farmed eggs and pasture-raised eggs is night and day. Caged chickens live in crowded, stressful environments, fed a steady diet of cheap pellets. Their eggs? Pale, bland, and often stripped of nutrients. Now compare that to pasture-raised chickens, roaming free, pecking at bugs, eating grass and seeds. Their eggs are deep orange in color, richer in nutrients, and even taste better. In the US, the label you want to look for is pasture-raised, not pasteurized, which is something completely different. You can scramble them, poach them, fry them in butter, or soft-boil them for a quick protein boost. However you make them, know that a high-quality egg is one of the most complete foods you can eat. 5. Healthy fats and oils. Don't fear the fat, let's set the record straight. Fat isn't the enemy. In fact, when chosen wisely, it's one of the most powerful tools you have for energy, hormone balance, and brain health. The fear of Fat came from decades of misinformation, linking dietary fat to body fat. But here's the truth. It's not the fat you eat that causes weight gain. It's the constant spike of insulin from sugar, starches, and ultra-processed foods that stores fat in your body. So which fats should you embrace? Grass-fed butter. Rich, creamy, and full of fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K. Extra virgin olive oil, cold-pressed, anti-inflammatory, and perfect for drizzling. Coconut oil, loaded with medium-chain triglycerides, MCTs, that convert quickly into energy. Beef tallow and pork lard, traditional cooking fats that are stable at high heat, only if sourced from healthy animals. And here's a pro. Tip: fat holds on to toxins. That means if your butter or lard comes from an animal raised on antibiotics and hormones, those chemicals concentrate in the fat. That's why it's worth spending a little more for organic or grass-fed options. On the other hand, what should you avoid? Industrial seed oils like canola, soybean, corn, and vegetable oil. These are heavily refined, often rancid, and high in omega-6 fats that trigger inflammation. They may sit in pretty bottles, but inside your body, they wreak havoc, slowly, silently, over time. So go back to the basics. Choose fats that your great-grandparents would recognize. Your body knows what to do with them. 6. Nuts. Nature's perfect snack when done right. Crunchy, satisfying, and packed with nutrients. Nuts are a fantastic addition to a healthy diet. But there's a catch: quality and portion matter. First, let's talk about which nuts to focus on. Macadamia nuts, creamy, buttery, and very low in carbs. Pecans, rich in healthy fats and antioxidants. Walnuts, brain-shaped and brain-boosting, thanks to their omega-3 content. Almonds, higher in carbs, but still a good source of fiber and protein. Here's the secret to unlocking their full benefits. Eat them raw and keep them unroasted, unsalted. Roasting can damage the delicate fats inside, and salted versions often lead to oversnacking. Nuts are energy-dense, so you don't need a huge handful. A small portion provides healthy fats, plant-based protein, gut-loving fiber. They're the ideal travel companion. Easy to store, satisfying between meals, and they won't spike your blood sugar. But they shouldn't become the foundation of your diet, since they still contain omega-6 fats that can be inflammatory in large amounts. Think of nuts as supporting players, not the stars. 7. Seeds. Tiny but mighty. While nuts steal most of the spotlight, seeds quietly offer a nutritional punch that's just as powerful, sometimes more. I'm talking about chia seeds, gelatinous when soaked, full of fiber and omega-3s. Flax seeds, excellent for digestion and hormone balance. Hemp seeds, soft, nutty, and protein-rich. Pumpkin seeds, mineral-rich, especially in magnesium and zinc. Unlike nuts, seeds are often used differently. You're not likely to eat them by the handful. Instead, they're best added to other foods. Blend them into smoothies. Mix them into yogurt. Sprinkle on salads or oatmeal. Bake into low-temp muffins or breads. And here's the beauty of it. Seeds are high in fat, rich in fiber, and virtually free of net carbs. That makes them ideal for low-carb, ketogenic, or insulin-sensitive diets. However, when it comes to omega-3s, especially from chia and flax, keep in mind that plant-based omega-3s are precursors. Your body still needs to convert them to the active form, which doesn't happen very efficiently. So while seeds are a great foundation, you'll still want fatty fish in your diet for the real deal. 8. Avocado, the creamy king of healthy fats. If there's one food that effortlessly combines flavor, texture, and nutrition, it's the avocado. Creamy, rich, and incredibly versatile, this fruit is a low-carb superstar and a dream food for anyone following ketogenic, paleo, or intermittent fasting lifestyles. Why? Because avocados are packed with monounsaturated fats, the kind that nourish your heart, stabilize your blood sugar, and keep you feeling full for hours. And here's the bonus. They're naturally low in sugar, with nearly zero net carbs. You can slice them onto salads, mash them into guacamole, blend them into smoothies, even eat them straight from the skin with a spoon. They're also rich in potassium, even more than bananas, and full of fiber, which supports healthy digestion and gut flora. What makes avocados even more remarkable is their satisfaction factor. 1/2 of an avocado can keep you going for hours, helping to reduce cravings and prevent overeating. That's a rare gift in the world of natural foods. So if you're looking for a food that feels indulgent but is actually healing, this is it. 9. Tubers and root vegetables. Natural carbs with a purpose. Let's move underground, literally. Root. Vegetables, also known as tubers, include sweet potatoes, carrots, turnips, rutabagas, and celery root. They grow beneath the soil, acting as the plant's energy reserve, and they can do the same for you. These foods are starch-rich, meaning they're higher in carbohydrates than leafy greens or seeds. But that doesn't make them bad. It just means timing and context matter. If you're insulin-sensitive, physically active, or doing carb cycling, then these foods can be a wholesome source of energy. They're far better than grains or processed carbs, offering fiber, minerals, and slow-burning fuel without the inflammatory baggage. However, if you're insulin-resistant, trying to lose weight, or following a low-carb or ketogenic diet, tread lightly. Even natural starch can spike blood sugar if your metabolism isn't ready for it. Smart ways to enjoy them. Mash sweet potatoes instead of white potatoes. Roast mixed root veggies in olive oil. Add small cubes into soups or stews for depth and texture. Think of root vegetables as your clean carb option. Used in moderation, they're a great way to stay energized without derailing your goals. 10. Herbs and spices. Flavor with benefits. Let is finish with a group of foods that don't provide calories, but deliver a world of benefits. Herbs and spices aren't just for seasoning. They're some of the most potent plant-based compounds in your kitchen. Take a look at these healing heroes. Garlic, natural antibacterial, antifungal, heart-supporting. Ginger, eases digestion and inflammation. Turmeric, powerful anti-inflammatory, especially for joints and gut health. Cinnamon, supports blood sugar balance and insulin sensitivity. Cloves, rosemary, parsley, cilantro, dill, loaded with antioxidants and micronutrients. Even though you use them in small amounts, their concentration of active compounds makes a real difference. They enhance digestion, support detox, boost immunity, and most importantly, they make food taste amazing. But here's the mindset shift. Don't treat them like pills. Don't chase the latest super spice supplement. Instead, make herbs. And spices a regular part of your everyday meals. A little here, a sprinkle there, your body and your taste buds will thank you. You've just walked through 10 of the most nutrient-dense, body-loving food categories on Earth. But what if I told you there's still room for a treat? In the final bonus section, we'll talk about chocolate, specifically dark chocolate, and how it can fit into a healthy lifestyle without guilt or regret. Dark chocolate, real, rich, minimally processed chocolate, can actually fit into a healthy lifestyle. But as always, it's all about quality, portion, and awareness. When people talk about chocolate being healthy, they're not talking about the sugary, creamy milk chocolate that melts in your mouth and spikes your blood sugar. They're talking about dark chocolate, specifically the kind that's made with at least 70% cocoa. Cocoa itself is a powerhouse. It's rich in antioxidants that fight oxidative stress, magnesium for muscle and nerve function, flavonols that support heart and brain health, and a tiny dose of natural compounds that lift your mood. But here's the trick. The higher the cocoa percentage, the lower the sugar content. A bar with 85% cocoa means the remaining 15% is sugar. If it's 78% cocoa, it has 22% sugar. That's why I recommend starting around 78%, then gradually moving up to 85% or more as your taste buds adjust. And yes, they do adjust. The less sugar you eat, the more you start to taste the nuanced bitterness, the roasted depth, the natural richness of dark chocolate. What once seemed harsh becomes comforting, even satisfying in just a single square. Start small. 1 or 2 squares after dinner. Pair it with nuts for added crunch, or melt it gently and drizzle over berries. But remember, portion matters. Just because something has health benefits doesn't mean more is better. Enjoy it mindfully, not mindlessly. And if you're someone who says, I could never give up chocolate, don't worry, you don't have to. You just have to choose better chocolate. Health isn't about extremes. It's about balance, about awareness, and about treating your body with the kind of care that lasts, not just for a week or a month, but for life. So whether you're enjoying a crisp salad, a spoonful of guacamole, or a piece of dark chocolate, do it with intention. Do it with and do it knowing that every small choice is shaping your future. After going through all these incredible foods, you might be wondering, what's the magic one? Which item on the list is the real cure-all? The truth is, none of them are. There is no single food that can fix your health, reverse all disease, or replace the need for movement, sleep, and a peaceful mind. Health doesn't come from one bite. It's built day by day, choice by choice, meal by meal. But here's the good news. You don't have to chase trends, fear carbs, or fall for superfood marketing hype. Instead, focus on real whole foods, minimally processed, close to nature, and eaten in balance. When you eat this way consistently, something remarkable happens. Your taste buds reset, your cravings change, and your energy returns, not as a sudden high, but as a steady, calm vitality that carries you through the day. You'll find that healthy food isn't punishment. It's freedom. The freedom to feel good in your body, the freedom to think clearly, the freedom to live with intention. So don't aim for perfection. Aim for progress, one thoughtful meal at a time. And remember, it's not about eating less. It's about eating right. Thanks for watching. And if this helped you rethink how you fuel your body, go ahead and subscribe for more. Your healthiest self is waiting.